Hi, this is Ingrid from Quiltessential Co, and we're going to be working on our October block of the month this time. And I know you're most probably looking at this thinking that's kind of complicated, but it's really not too bad when we break it up and put it into little pieces. So we're going to work on this. And behind me, because it is technically fall, we have this beautiful Sunflower Whispers panel, so you could do lovely things with that. And there's a beautiful range of fabric that comes with that too, and that's on our website. So let's go cut things out for a block. So we're going to be cutting this out, and I'm going to show you the quickest way to do this. So we have an A fabric and a B fabric. And what I did was, first of all, I cut my first two pieces, my two squares from my A. And then I stacked my A and B together, because everything from that point on, you're cutting two of everything. So you cut two squares this size, two squares this size, two squares this size, two this size, and two long pieces. So that way they're stacked together and you know that you have them all out. So you've been given one big piece of fabric, and once you go from the largest down to the smallest, that's the fastest way that you can cut that out. C is easy, two big squares and one smaller square cut on the diagonal, and D, one square cut on the diagonal. Now we will be going back and cutting some of these on the diagonal too, but I don't want to confuse you too much. So I just want you to know how to cut the squares out first, and then we'll work on the diagonals. And just follow all your notes and you'll be fine. So you have cut these. These are A fabrics and your B fabrics, and you were told to cut them into squares. You're also cutting them on the diagonal. So you'll see that these are A's and they've been cut on diagonal, and B's cut on diagonal. Now for shape, these are A1s, A2, B1 shape, B2 shape. And the best thing about this is basically it's placement for making the block. So let's get on to sewing. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take your A and your B that are the rectangles, and you're going to sew them together on the long side. Once you've done that, you are then going to cut them into units, which I've done here. So you'll get 4 units, and you're going to turn them around and sew them into 2 4 patches. So you just pop those together like this and sew them down here, and you will end up with a 4 patch. Once you have those 4 patches, you're going to, and you've got lots of room, you're going to square them up. So you're using the 2-inch square up part at the bottom of the ruler. Put that on here, and you're lining up your center so that it's perfect. Trim the sides, turn it around and trim the other side. So you can see that there is quite a bit to trim, but then they're absolutely perfect for the center of your block. And from that then on, as you're putting things together, it's all about the placement. So we're working on this part of the block, which is actually called a snail's trail. So you'll see that little 4 patch right here. So come and meet me right back and we'll work on that together. The whole point of this block is placement, and it's about color arrangement. Please follow along carefully with the pattern that I have set out for you, and you're going to take your A1 shape. Make sure that you have this in the correct spot for your B's and your A's, and you're going to sew those 2 A's on just like we have all year long, and then you're going to sew your 2 other A1 shapes on here. And then you're going to square it all up again with your A1 part of your ruler with that 4 patch in the middle. Once you've done that and it's all squared up, you're doing the same type of thing, except every time you want to line it up like I have in the pattern. So when you put your A2s on, they have to be in the right spot. So make sure that you put your color variations in the right area as you sew. So every time you sew, you're going to make sure these are in the correct spot, and you'll see that your pattern is going to start coming out in a spiral from here. Square up again, Then you're going to add your next colors. And then finally, you'll be putting on your B2s. Every single time, check your pattern because it will tell you which combination you're going to put on this side or this side. So make sure you're always the way the pattern is and you won't end up with a mistake. Once you're done, you will have two lovely snail's trails blocks here, and you can see how that four-patch, the B color comes out here, the B color comes out here, A comes out this way and this way, so you get that lovely spiral, and you're going to make two of those. And when you meet me back, we'll finish up the other two sides of the block. Now for the other two corners, we're taking our C and we're adding our E B2s on the side, press like normal, and then we're going to add another B2 that's a C and another B2 that's a D, and that gives you the other two corners. So once you've trimmed those up, you're going to put them all together like this, and you get an amazing block that does all kinds of cool stuff if you make multiples of them. And I know that you might think, oh, there's a lot of pieces in that, but actually it's just color placement that makes it so cool. So I hope you enjoy that, because that's most probably the hardest one that we're going to do this year. The rest are going to be easier. I hope you enjoyed sewing that block, and I hope you've been enjoying this lovely fall. And so next time we meet, it'll be November, so maybe we'll even have snow by then. Hopefully not. If you found this video useful, please leave us a like and click subscribe for future content. And this has been Ingrid from Quiltessential Co. And thank you so much for sewing with me today, and we'll see you very soon.